Hello. Hi, corporate badasses. I am so excited to be here with you this week. As luck would have it, the holidays at the end of December have landed on Tuesdays. And so normally I do my December Doing It series every Tuesday in the month of December, but I decided to give all of us a break for those final 2 weeks. And that has created this beautiful added benefit in that I've been able to have literally like twice as many women on the December Doing It series this year. And so we have 3 incredible women that I want to celebrate with you as we close out the series. So what is the December Doing It series and who am I if you haven't been joining us every single week? My name is Stacy Mayer. I am the best-selling author of Promotions Made Easy, a step-by-step guide to the executive suite. And I am also the founder of the Leadership Table Project, which is part of the journey that these 3 women have been on with me for some of them for the past several years. And basically what we're doing is changing the face of the leadership table, giving women the tools to get to and be successful at that executive suite. So I am so excited to celebrate them today. And we're going to be having a really incredible conversation about their own leadership journey and what have been some of their secrets to success. And as you're watching, I encourage you to comment, to ask questions. We are live, so we can see them. Say hello. It's nice to know who's out there and who's watching. And also, if you care about this mission of bringing more women to the executive suite, then I also encourage you to chat and to comment because it helps more people find us. Go back and listen to the other December Doing It series as well. You can find the links to our previous broadcasts. This is our 4th year doing this. And so there are a lot of really incredible interviews that I've done throughout the years. Hello, Marie. Thank you for saying hi. All right. So to kick us off, I'm going to have each woman introduce themselves and then we'll get started on some questions. All right, Amy, why don't we start with you?
All right. Well, thank you for having me, Marie. Amy Johnson, I'm the Senior Director of Social Impact at Royal Neighbors of America. And I have been in the nonprofit marketing or social impact world for 15 years. And it's a great career, but I always want more. So I talk to Marie.
Thank you. She called me Marie. I was like,
sorry. Marie just commented. I also work with several Maries.
So great though, because I think that, I love the power of being live. And then I also love the power of being authentic. So we don't have to pretend or like sit inside a box. We're right here with you guys. And hello, Brandy. Thank you for bringing the smiles. It is a gloomy day actually here, even in California. So it's good to see you. All right, Charu.
Hi, everyone. And thank you so much, Stacy, for the opportunity on this great forum to be with more women. I always love that. I am Charu Daiya. I have about over 20 to 25 years in healthcare, but 15 of those are with AbbVie. So currently I am the head of marketing in oncology at AbbVie and very excited to be part of this amazing group of women and see more of what we can do together.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And Diana.
Hello, everybody. Happy holidays to everyone. Looking forward to the upcoming break. My name is Diana Brassard. I'm Senior Director, R&D, Project Management at Cambrian Bio. I have been in the industry, pharma, biotech for 20 plus years. And I look forward to having this conversation with everyone.
Yes, we have got a collective 80 plus years experience here. This is amazing. So that being said, I bet there have been some secrets to your success over the years. So I'd love to start out with that, what you would define as those secrets to success. Diana, let's go back to you.
I've been very fortunate over the years to have really wonderful mentors very early in my career and even to current day. Both either as line managers or adjacent managers. I've also been very fortunate to have good colleagues and some very close friends that I've had over the years that have been very good sounding boards and have helped me a lot during my career. in addition to the fact that I have career coach.
Yeah, exactly. Coaching helps. So Diana, I know that some of this mentorship and guidance that you've created around you over the years. So part of it is, we find ourselves with a really great boss that really helps us and leads us. And that's what I know all of you strive to be, that boss as well. I have one of my favorite compliments is when somebody just hands out my book and says, "Hey, you want to be promoted, do this," right? And having those people that just give us those tools. But what are some of the ways that you've created or even cultivated some of the mentorship and coaching from some of the leaders around you? How have you created that?
Well, I very much feel that I, as having been a line manager or having responsibility for career development of those underneath me, feel that that's a very important role responsibility myself, and take my own career very seriously in terms of identifying and looking for mentors and people who are open to that role. And then I also I have participated in various mentoring programs, either as the mentee or the mentor myself.
Yeah.
That's something I very much enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pointing this out as like a practice because I want us all to remember that it doesn't just happen. And I think sometimes when we hear successful leaders talk about that great mentor that they had, that lifted them up, and then we think, oh, well, wouldn't that be nice? But I know for a fact, having worked with all three of you, that these are things that you've gone out and received. And then it kind of sounds like, Diana, you're able to pick up on who is available for that type of mentorship and to really ask for it. So yeah, I love that. Amy, let's go to you next.
Well, I learned early on to embrace those people that want to help you. And I have found some great mentors along the way. Particularly, I think of one time I got to present at a board meeting and I didn't do so well. And one of the women said, "You know what? That's okay, but can I mentor you?" And I was so nervous, but I said yes. And I still have a great relationship with that woman today. So being open to allowing people into your circle that want to be successful, good people find good people. And then also, I think having a natural and fostering that natural ability to learn and get curious has helped me so much along the way. It might not have been a topic I really thought I was interested in, but something popped up at work and I thought, okay, I'm going to take an hour to teach myself about this. And it has never, ever steered me wrong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Charu, I know you probably have some secrets to success as well that you'd like to share.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's common themes between what Diana and Amy have shared too. So the mentorship, sponsorship is critical. I think taking ownership of your own career, mapping out that journey, or as Stacy likes to say, our 3X vision, right? Like what do we want to be when we grow up? I think that learning and that curiosity and that motivation never stops. I think one thing I've really experienced and learned is to ensure that my mentors and my sponsorships, not only do I proactively engage with them, but they're people that I can have transparent conversations with. So they're ones that will tell me when things are not going well. They'll tell me if there's opportunity areas for me to improve. They'll be in the room with me if there's things that, and have my back if there's things that I can focus on. So just having folks that will have that candid, transparent conversation with you. I've gravitated to more females, but over time it's been helpful to have more male allies as well. I think is really helpful because sometimes we get in our own head, but just having someone that'll tell you like it is really goes a long way. And then we know where to focus our efforts to then go to the next level.
Yeah. I think there's a common misconception that being a leader means having all the answers. And then I think when we really look at that as women, one, we don't want to be that person, right? Like if we always had to have all the answers, that sounds awful. Why would we ever raise our hands? But then when we really look at it, it breaks down very quickly. And I think truly the definition of leadership is being able to go out and find the answers and being able to be humble and learn and to get that feedback loop. A lot of people think that feedback is about because things aren't working. Like, I'm not saying that Amy's board presentation was bad, but sometimes when things didn't go well, then you think, oh, I need help, right? Mm-hmm. But there's also the other side, which is that we proactively go out and seek it. And we want to do better. And we also want to go from good to great. And we want to know and be transparent as leaders, but also so that we're not blindsided, right? Because if we're not going to have all the answers, then we're also setting ourselves up for a potential failure, right? So we need more information when we're putting ourselves in higher level leadership positions. This is a high stakes environment, right? So yeah, having that as part of your career development plan, I think is huge. And learning how to do it at any time of your career is really important. And to do it, another thing I'll also add is that I think a lot of women at the beginning stages, they look at mentorship, when you're thinking of it in that sort of help me type stage. And then they carry that over into once they've made it into those higher level leadership positions, they still treat it as sort of like but I'm not sure if I'm ready type, attitude. And that is not at all what we're talking about here. And so I just kind of want to point out that difference. And I think that's also really important as a mentor as well, to remember that the people that you're mentoring are very resourced and available and ready to kind of step into those roles. So I appreciate that conversation. If you're listening and you want to share any of your own secrets to success, we would love to hear that as well, what you feel like has helped you throughout the years. I think that's really beneficial. All right. So all of you are working in a leadership capacity, and I would love to hear from you as a leader. What are some of the considerations that you put into place? Like what are some of your guideposts? How do you think about leadership? What's your leadership philosophy? Let's go back to Charu.
Yeah, and this is top of mind for me right now. I just started a new role, as Stacy knows, about a month in. I'm 30 days into this role, and we're launching a product pretty quickly. So for me, I think there's three things that come to mind in terms of leadership. One is clarity. I think the more clarity that we can provide for ourselves, our teams, our cross-functional partners, I work in a very matrixed environment, the better. We're all operating under the same vision, goal, and mantra. The second is culture. I think the culture that and the tone that we set as leaders, a lot of us are in pace setting cultures where how we act and operate and what we do really sets the tone for the team. So the culture that we create, and that can be anything from a spirit of transparency, candidness, feedback, right? As Stacy is saying, those things are important. And when things go wrong, those are the values that we then will rely on. And then the last thing is just around structure. And so again, if we can have a more streamlined structure, less layers, less hierarchical, I think it drives agility in decision-making and in performance overall. So those are things that, it's not always easy to strive for that. But when it comes to leadership, really building that right type of team dynamic environment and then walking the walk as a leader is so important.
Yeah, even Charu's ability to articulate what her three things that she thinks about as a leader is part of the growth process. So I applaud you. That was so well delivered and also very true. And I encourage everyone listening, if you don't think you know who you are as a leader yet, just start exploring, like, what are the considerations? What are my three C's? What is it that I think about every single time in my first 30 days when I'm starting out? And if I had Charu as a leader and she came in and she said, okay, here's my focus today. Here's what I'm thinking about as we launch this product or whatever, as we're thinking about, moving forward. And a lot of things are going to happen very quick, but these are my milestones. These are my guideposts. So yeah, that's just fantastic. Thank you. Diana, what about you?
I agree with everything Charu has mentioned. I guess what I would add in terms of the algorithm, I consider,
I like it.
would be, I think a lot about senior management or stakeholder expectations, because sometimes a lot of times they are like key stakeholders that you have a lot of work to manage up. So I guess I see what a lot of Charu was thinking about was managing down, and managing up is also key. So there's the right way. So yeah, I just sometimes have to take that into consideration, not just the communication and the structure of decision making, but who are the other stakeholders that you have to manage as well, and their expectations.
Yeah, I was thinking when Charu was talking, I take a very proactive approach to my coaching, and I really believe that we don't just get clarity, we create clarity, right? And so when you're talking about managing stakeholders, a lot of times people will say to me, well, I don't know what they want, or they don't have clear expectations, or it's, and I'm like, well, but you do know something, right? So whether it's like they seem to get upset when XYZ happens, that's how you start piecing together that clarity, right? And so we can have clarity up, we can have clarity down, we can go out and get that clarity. Maybe we need to ask better questions to receive that. But I think that it is very important that we're creating clarity for ourselves and not waiting for clarity. So,
well, and creating it for the team as well. I totally
Yeah.
agree. That's very important as a leader, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Hi, Amy. What are some of the considerations that you take in for your leadership?
Well, first, I love this conversation because I always learn from other women, and I'm taking notes. So thank you.
Exactly.
Are just different ways to think about things. But for me, it's authenticity is so important to me. And so I really want to lead in a way that I think feels good. Like I feel good at the end of the day about the way I'm accomplishing my work and the goals I have and the teams that I work with and the people that I support. And so if I authentically can feel good about what I did, the other stuff falls into that. So also, but to do that, you have to invest in yourself and you have to know who you are. And that's something that over the years, sometimes I feel like I do know who I am and how I want to lead. And then, there are times where you don't feel that. And when you start to feel that way, you have to find a Stacy for your life, or a book, or that really good friend, or the mentor that we talked about. And when that story I shared about the time where it didn't go so well and that woman didn't chastise me, she didn't pull me aside and tell me how awful I did. She said, you have potential and I want to help you. And I readily accepted that. But being able to invest in those types of conversations, and that has led me also in terms of my own leadership, is to invest in those types of relationships with the people around me, because I can't create clarity if I can't have trusted conversations with those above me or below me or at my level. So I really want to invest in that authenticity, invest in myself, and build those relationships. So all those things that Charu and Diana talked about can fall into place because we need them all to succeed.
Yeah. One of the Achilles heel that I had was this idea of authenticity. I had this thing that I would say in high school a lot, which was like, I don't even know what I want. I don't know what I want. I don't know. I don't know. I use the word I don't know all the time. And when I'm listening to you talk, it's like, it's so easy to fall into that trap with authenticity where we don't really claim the power of that and we don't make some choices based on that. Because there is some confusion, right? Sometimes we don't exactly know what we want, but we do. And when we can really, start to articulate that, start to embrace that, and, I call it authentic power. And when we put the two words together, then it kicks us out of that idea of like, I have to find myself, I have to find my passion in order to have success, or I have to find the right pieces, because I need to be authentic. That's one way. And then there's the other authentic, which is like, I show up powerfully. I take ownership for myself. I take ownership for my career. That's where the authentic power comes in. And I had to learn that myself over the years because I felt like I would use my authenticity as a scapegoat to not show up for myself. So I don't know. Maybe you're like that too. I don't know, but
It's been a
I'm always
journey.
on to my old, my old teenage self. I'm like, oh yeah, I know her.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is
It's
a
definitely
journey.
a journey. It's like learning through all of that and figuring it out along the way, but being open to learning that and not just moving past it, but
Yeah.
utilizing it.
Yeah, this is such a great conversation. Well, my favorite question is coming up right now, and I really love talking to the women that I work with and just asking them why they personally feel motivated to have a voice at the table. And I think that it's an important question to ask ourselves as a reminder, because it's not easy and the journey's not always easy. And we sort of need that perspective to say, why am I doing all this? Why is this so hard? But then also as a reminder that the world and the work that we're doing is bigger than us, right? Like us being a leader is great, like you get a title and pay, whatever. But as all three of these women have said today, it's about the impact that we're making on others and on our organizations, and then being true to our own authentic power, so to speak, being true to who we are. So every woman has a very unique story as to why they feel motivated to do that. So I would love to hear some of them right now. Let's start with you, Diana.
Well, I remember my answer to this question last year.
Yeah, I know. I like
so my answer last year was, when you don't have a seat at the table, you're on the menu. And part of my conversation or my thoughts for this year answer is that when you think strategically and tactically, it helps to be at the table so that you're not in a silo. So, because when you're off in a silo, you really don't have the big picture, and that's really a challenge for being really, like, in my role and in my projects. They're very cross-functional, and it's very hard to think cross-functionally and truly strategic, even tactically, when you're in a silo. So
yeah,
that's my interest.
Yeah, it helps. Well, and so when we have that seat at the table, the silo is supposedly broken down, right? Like, so we're included, we're in the leadership team meetings, we're not being put on a stage without all of the information, right? And so that's a nice benefit of it. But it's also, as you're describing, it's also what gets us there. And so you talked about, stakeholder management and putting yourself in front of these stakeholders and understanding what they need. And so when we can begin to do that as part of the process to get to that leadership table so that we can continue to be included, I think that's when it really blossoms. So yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. All right, Amy, what about you?
Well, I've always wanted to have a voice. So if you want your voice to be heard, you're going to have to work your way through the varying levels and use your voice at each of those levels. But now in my role at my organization, I really want to align my impact and my action and how I can make them work together, because I truly believe in empowering women, and I believe in the power that we have working together. And if we can have a seat at the table, there's social impact, there's political impact, there's impact in our workplaces. And if I could be part of that story and that journey of myself, and then also bringing other women along or other allies along in that journey, I just think there's a pathway to success when we can bring those voices there. So I want to be part of that. I want to be part of helping other women get there, and also myself, the whole journey. So aligning that purpose and impact together.
Yeah, that's great. So good. And Charu, why do you feel motivated to have a voice at the table?
I think I'll echo what Diana and Amy said too. It is about impact. It is about being, and I'll take a quote from the Hamilton play. It's about being in the room where it happens, right? This is where a lot of the magic happens. And if you're left out, you're not able to connect the dots, think strategically, understand the big picture. But it's also about adding value, right? And how we show up. And I think that there's an important impact or opportunity to show up in such a way that we show that we can add the value. Not to say that there's naysayers out there and we have to prove it to them, but also as an opportunity for ourselves to show up authentically, be confident, and really have that impact. So I think for me, it's a multitude of those things. It's also, paying the way forward as well. There's, as the more that I rise in my organization, there's less female leaders that look like me. And often I'm in rooms where I am either the only female or the only minority female. And so having an opportunity to have a seat at the table and represent that voice is really important to me.
Yeah. We all have such different perspectives, and it's important to hear that and to have that included. And then when you get to see the benefit of that on the other side, it's just, in my opinion, nothing like it. And I'm so grateful for each of you for raising your hand, for stepping up to the leadership table, for asking for more, for showing up in your authentic power, for having this conversation with us today, because each one of you are quote unquote doing it. And I am very honored to be a part of that journey with you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Thanks, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.